It wasn't going to be anything simple and straightforward, right?
Never is. Never. Never is. And it's just great to be in these kind of battles. You know, you go in one way and you're thinking that you have this many points and you have this many bullets and you know, you're in a good space, but then you always, as a coach in the back of your mind, you got to say, okay, I got to be prepared for the unexpected. And we were. And that's this team, these student athletes, they just did a fantastic job staying focused through everything these last couple of days. On the men's side, Garrett, who did extremely well in the 200 and the 4x1. I don't know if you guys know the history. Garrett got hurt at Big Ten. So I pulled him from the whole competition and trying to just be smart to get to this point right here. And he did a fantastic job. I heard he got hurt, but we all gathered around him on the trainer's table, and we told him we were going to go out and get this for him. I didn't know it was going to be this nerve-wracking, though. I knew we had to either get fourth and win, fifth place ties, but I never imagined the battle we would be in. So I think that's what makes it really sweet. Can't predict it. It makes it really sweet. They're champions, and just so proud of everyone. Student athletes, staff, just everybody. It's a teamwork makes the dream work. So it's a whole staff and just program effort.
What was the roller coaster of emotions watching the end of that 4x4 and then the aftermath? Like, my gosh, is someone going to get DQ'd? Like, what's going to happen to us?
Well, definitely was a roller coaster because I've been on it before, and it's been a very interesting, eventful year. The Big Ten has been great, entering the Big Ten. And we had some challenges indoors and things of that nature. We came back strong outdoors, so and we came back strong indoors as well with the national championship. But you know, you want to be prepared for the roller coaster. And I think today, you just the staff and coaches are just so invested in these young men and women. So when they go down, you hurt. You feel for them because they're giving everything. I think the roller coaster ride with Garrett being down and then looking at how we were going to position and what it would take, and you know, looking at the points where we can't fall, and then A&M just coming out of nowhere in that 4x4, it makes it very interesting. And that's a roller coaster ride. You're looking at one school, then another school comes in. But I think that's the beauty of being very competitive. You know, they have a very competitive program. A&M, Arkansas, very competitive program. So, and along with other teams that are here competing their butts off. But I think when it came down to USC, Arkansas, and A&M, you know, nobody stopped fighting. And I think that's what we saw there. You saw a championship that was split.
Quincy, it might be lost in all of the ebb and flow on the track, but just how significant was it for the energy of the team to get what you got out of Rick Hill, to kind of get this thing going today?
The big fella's always there for us. He's always there for us. And he was hurt. He got hurt before Big Ten. So another plan is getting the big fella healthy. And what is healthy? You know, you may wake up one day and feel good, but when you get here, you know, can you compete at this level? You know, he was able to come back. He got some practice throws in at Big Ten outdoors. And so it was good to see. But for him to be under that kind of duress and not healthy, and his coach had to tell him, hey, what are you doing? Let it fly. Let it fly. You know, and Rick Hill said, well, I was trying to just be careful with my calf. He said, well, let it fly. Let's see what you got. And he let it fly. Tremendous PB. And I think these moments is what I told our student athletes. I said, these moments is what you want. You want the challenge. You want some adversity. You want somebody a little bit better than you, and you want to compete at a high level. So proud of him to be able to do that.
It's been 50 years since you guys held these trophies, and you won indoor and outdoor. How can you reflect on that, or what it means to finally, you know, you guys have won a lot of individual things over the years, but to take these team trophies home after such a long gap, like, how's it feel to be on top?
This has been a tremendous commitment. A tremendous commitment on the coaching staff, the student athletes, and all you guys know it's not easy dealing with young adults. So, but it's so gratifying. What we try to do, we try not to look at how long it's been. We just try to stay current. We just try to be relevant right now. And in doing that, we're able to enjoy it with our community, with the USC fan base, and some staff, support staff. My athletic director is here. President of the university, Dr. Fogle, was here. So, for them to be here, it was just surreal, and not necessarily looking at how long it took, but just really enjoying this moment and then reflecting like, wow, it's been that long. So, it's been great.
Now you don't have to think about that stuff anymore.
No.
You guys have never been more relevant than you are right now.
Yeah, we're trying to stay relevant, and being relevant means staying in the moment, and whatever comes our way, just being able to adapt.
The weekend that Joanna and UCLA beat you guys, how does something like a weekend like that spur everyone to get it right at the end?
We were okay. We knew we would be here in the end. And sometimes you just have a bad meet. And we lost by 1 point on the men's side, and the UCLA women did very well. And we just had a bad meet, and we were able to. I gave them an analogy back at university, and our staff. And I put the analogy on the board, and I talked about this story. This young lady, she fell off her horse, and when she fell off the horse, she broke her spine, and her dad was in the hospital. And when she was able to communicate, have a conversation with him, she said, "Dad, when we get back on the horse?" And I just thought that was so impressive. That was just so poignant. So I put on our board, "Let's get back on the horse," right? And I shared that story. So I think that's what sports is about. If you may have a hiccup during the year, it's not indicative of where the team is going to end up. It just means you're human. Yeah. So that's how I trust that.
Ride it off into the sunset, man.
Ride it off into the sunset with a heart attack. Goodness. I'm so tired of protests.
One athlete I'd like to ask you about is Max Thomas, and he had a really spectacular day in 100 and 200. Did you see a big weekend coming for him?
Yes. Max Thomas, he's mature. He's my captain this year. Last year, going into the mile relay, we had the opportunity to win, and then after the mile relay, we ended up being third. But Max saw where this team could be on the men's side, and when you're a young athlete like as a sophomore, and you come into your junior year, and you're at the show, and you realize I belong. He brought that back to USC, and the workout that they conducted on their own, buying into this piece right here, and making sure everybody else bought into this piece right here, showed tremendous maturity. And if you look at his progression all year long, he's been very consistent and getting better and better week in and week out. And you're going to have some hiccups here and there. Nobody's perfect. Hell, I had them, right? But the maturity, his confidence, and just being a team captain, what he's represented to the team, and how he's actually kept everybody together because of his confidence has been huge. I'm so proud of Max Thomas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Quincy.